recently in my last video, I wanted to see what the canon ending of Dispatch was. So the way I worked that out was just letting the game run by itself, not selecting any of the dialogue options. And what I found out is that at the end of the game, Invisigal chooses the bad ending. So she'll kill Shroud, pick up his mask, and then disappear on us. Now, I got a few comments saying that, well, actually you can get a good ending with her, but it's mainly based on the gameplay side. So I was led to believe that if I only selected Invisigal for missions, then I'll actually get a good ending. But then after doing that challenge and wasting 7 hours, I found this post here on Reddit that says that's actually not the case. So it says that there's a certain score you have to get in order to get the heroic ending, which is 45 points. And after each counter with Invisigal, your points will either go up or down depending on how you play it. So I'm just going to go through the gameplay that I just recorded of me constantly putting Invisigal into battle and just see how well I did. And spoiler, I did get the villain ending again, but I actually want to know how close I was. So the first one is for episode 2. You get a point, either a positive one or a negative one, if you hack the sprinkler system at Granny's, which I actually did, so that's a +1 for me. The other points you can get for episode 2 are also by the dialogue options. Now, I didn't choose any of these, I just let the game run by itself, so not really surprisingly, I didn't lose any of the points either. Yeah, there was 4 options. 3 were in the break room when you were arguing with Invisigal, and the last one was in Blazer's office when you were talking about why your nose was bleeding. See, I was constantly putting Invisigal into fights, making it so she was always injured, and then whenever she completely tapped out, I just let the game run and not select anyone else. I thought that would have helped me out here, but according to this, it doesn't really matter. Maybe I should have used missions with other members in order to try and get successful wins for her. But anyways, with the next dialogue option, it's the one at the swing set. I didn't lose or gain any points because it's just the default answer, so didn't change my score at all. But this one here, hacking the second camera at the jewelry store, I failed it on purpose because I just wanted to quickly get through this game. So I failed, so that's -2 points. So I'm on -1 points now. And I also failed to put on the Master Lies, so that's also -2 points. So my total now is -3 points. Okay, I can see where I went wrong. For episode 4, they say that, well, the only points I could have got is if I went on a movie with Invisigal, which the game decided to go with Blazer, so that's 0 points, so I'm still on -3. And that was actually the first episode where I actually downed Invisigal, but surprisingly that had no impact to the point system whatsoever, so that's fine. This one I might be a little bit confused about, because for episode 5, the only points you really can get are from the QuickTime events from the bar fight. Now, I had it on cinematic mode, so I actually didn't need to press anything, so I don't know if they actually do count or not, but let's just say they did. So I got in total 4 points for succeeding, so now I'm on 1 point. And at the end of that episode, you also get 5 points or -5 points depending on what you choose when you decide if you want to tell the team about your true identity, which the game chose Mecha Man, which means I get 5 points, bringing my total to 6. Now for episode 6, I started to lose some points because in the party I got 3 dialogue options. The game picked "Thanks guys," which was +1. Then after Invisigal gets in an argument with Blazer, which Robert says this is out of our league, so that's -1. So our points system hasn't really changed yet. And finally, after the chase argument, Robert says everyone calm down, which is -1 point. So after that whole party, I did actually lose 1 point. But the good thing is that if you hack the equipment around Vizzy when she's trying to infiltrate the docks, you also get a few points from that. So I did hack the door, hack the loudspeaker and the crane, but then I didn't really care about hacking the safe because it doesn't really matter. It still unlocks anyway, which is fine because you actually don't lose any points if you fail, which means my total is now 10 points. And like I said at the start, you need at least 45 in order to get the good ending, so I can see why I didn't get there. Now this was the part where I was surprised by, because like I said, I was on the assumption that if you kept choosing Invisigal, you wouldn't cut her, but as we know, Robert decides to cut her anyway, so that's -5 points. And when talking to her in the locker room, I actually didn't lose any points or gain any based on the default game dialogue options. But at the end of the episode, when Blazer tells you to choose either Trackstar or Invisigal for the story, Robert does decide to use Invisigal, which is -2 points. So at the start of the episode, I was on 10, but then after all the events, I'm now down to 3. Alright, time for the final episode. So it seems like there's 2 options here. The first one is the one dialogue option when Royd has left you alone with Invisigal tied up. Robert asks her, why didn't you tell me? Which doesn't really give you any points or lose any. And finally, Robert does decide to go at it alone, which is -5 points, bringing my total to -2. So it seems like the gameplay doesn't really impact your choices that much, to be honest, because the only ones that were impacted was just the hacking scenes, but they only give you like 2 points. So even if I did the hacking scenes correctly, I would have just gained another 5 points, bringing my total score to 3. And according to Reddit here, I need to get 45 in order to get the good ending. So I can now conclude that, just like the last video, when it comes to the canon ending, Invisigal turns evil and becomes a villain once again.